Hello, everybody. MegaZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting episode on Zard's Thoughts. And ladies and gentlemen, this might be the biggest news that we'll have to the Nintendo Switch Successor ever for the rest of 2024 before they actually probably go hands-on and reveal the system outright in 2025. Because late last night, Furukawa, the president of Nintendo, came out in a statement on their Nintendo business account, and this is the statement he had to say in regards to the successor to the Nintendo Switch. This is Furukawa. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that the Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will also be available on the successor to the Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to the Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date. And to that, I say, oh shoot, finally. Everybody and their mama was kind of on the fence wondering, could the Nintendo Switch 2 be backwards compatible with the Nintendo Switch software and everything else that's included with it, including Nintendo Switch Online. And, that would have been the dumbest thing ever if they managed to come from Nintendo Switch and transition over to the Nintendo Switch 2 and not have it be backwards compatible with everything that we already currently have on the Switch ecosystem, though, because the library and stuff is so big and so massive right now. Like, you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you can't still cater to everybody that has already invested into your ecosystem. Because remind you, in the past, yes, we had backwards compatibility of the sort, especially within the home console space. Like, for example, GameCube games were playable on Wii, and then obviously Wii games were playable on the Wii U, though. But jump from the Wii U to the Switch, because you're going from disc-based media over the cartridge-based, that made perfect sense, the reason why you had to do that fine break, though. But even in times past, I mean, you weren't able to carry over any of your purchases in terms of a digital landscape from the older console to the new one, because Nintendo hasn't quite set up anything online yet in the sense of where you're able to carry over some past games over to future games and stuff. We've seen this time and time again with stuff with PlayStation and stuff being able to carry some things over, as well as Xbox with their whole backwards compatibility program and stuff, though. But Nintendo, it's been weird. We went from Nintendo Wi-Fi connection stuff to over there to the Nintendo network IDs that were used within the 3DS and Wii U stuff. But finally, Nintendo has managed to bolster up this Nintendo account, and they've been saying this time and time again in a lot of their financial reportings, that they say, hey, the outlook from the Nintendo Switch onward, we're basing everything within these Nintendo online accounts. And this is going to be another video for another day in terms of all the different features that are tied into that Nintendo account, because it's kind of crazy how many things you can do with, though. But they've been bolstering so many times in those meetings, hey, the future is with this Nintendo account, though. So to be able to have all your purchases, which should be physical as well as digital, be able to carry over to the next console, it's gonna be huge. Like, out the gates, though, you'll have a lot of different games you'll be able to play just based upon the Switch library catalog, though. Now, that's just the part one of it, though. They also did confirm that, yes, you will be able to have all your Nintendo Switch Online stuff, so your NSO games carry over as well. That's everything from the NES, the Super Nintendo, and the Game Boy for the basic tier stuff. And then you should have the Sega Genesis, the Game Boy Advance, and the Nintendo 64 stuff for the expansion pass stuff carry over as well. And then also, along with the additional benefits that you'll probably have, the certain DLCs for Mario Kart or Splatoon 2 or the Animal Crossing New Horizons stuff, all of that stuff will be able to carry over as well, though. And to that, oh my goodness, thank goodness that that's happening, because for the longest time, every time that Nintendo would soft reboot, move from the Wii Virtual Console to the Wii U stuff, they had little upgrade plans and stuff like that, and they would trickle out those games, those old NES games, time and time again. And now the fact that we can start off with a big library of games from the NES all the way up to the GBA on day one and only expand it from there, but with the inclusion of potential new consoles such as GameCube or the Nintendo Wii in the future, along with anything else, maybe you get Dreamcast or something like that from a third-party Sega or something like that. Hey, that's going to be news to a lot of people's ears. At least you don't have to do a grand reset on this thing, though. And rightfully so, especially since you have so many, subscribers invested in NSO, which they did manage to give out an updated number on that. They said roughly about 34 million people are subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online as of this moment right now, which if you do the little math, it's about out of every 5 people, at least one person roughly has Nintendo Switch Online, which isn't necessarily a bad number considering how I think Xbox's numbers is roughly around that 34 million marker as well. But theirs is a little weird. They include like Xbox Gold members that's not like truly Game Pass as part of their Game Pass numbers and stuff like that though. So I say Nintendo's doing pretty good for where they're at right now though. So honestly, this whole entire statement that Brokaw said, the fact that we're carrying over the NSO games and Nintendo Switch library software to the Nintendo Switch 2, it's music to my ears and probably to a lot of y'all out there as well. Now, also in terms of any other future news about the successor, I think this is going to be it. I don't think we're going to get anything else announced for the successor for the rest of this year because I feel like Nintendo's focus, or at least the holiday of 2024, is just to sell as many Switch systems as possible because this is going to be probably the last year that Nintendo Switch is going to be the only console in Nintendo's eyes on the market before the successor is announced, and then you run these dual SKUs for at least a brief period of time though. So Nintendo's just putting all their eggs into the Switch one more time before they're going to announce it. And literally they said that they didn't change any plans on when they're going to announce it. It's still going to be within this financial year. So that means they still got all the way to the end of the day or the last day of March to be able to announce this thing. So my gut is saying at this point, it's either going to be January or it could very well likely be February. That's probably one of the couple of months to kind of keep your eye on now. So if you see anybody else bolstering this stuff up for like, oh, could it still be announced in November or December? Man, I mean, you got to take what they say with a grain of salt. And honestly, you might have to unfollow some people if they're really going on about this mess though. I'll just leave it at that though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all did you think about this news that Fullcall happened to drop out on their business Twitter account late in the evening last night though? Because I did a little jump. I was like, okay, good. We got a little bit of something. It's something that everybody was wondering about. And I'm glad they solidified that mess, and at least they appeased the shareholders because they have to appease at least those people that are investing within them just to kind of keep the stocks okay, though. But yeah, that's going to basically do it in terms of today's video, though. So if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember, y'all, until we're a video I make next, see y'all.